Welcome to Indie Beacon Radio, where creative souls can find help in marketing their creations. You can send questions for each show on Twitter using the hashtag IndieBeacon. Now sit back and enjoy learning about our guest for this show.
Good morning, y'all. This is radio host Shanalee Sharboneau, your speaker, model, as well as awarded author, but that's not the important thing. The important person today is Anna Bauereis. We have her today in the studio. Very thrilled. You guys are going to enjoy this on your 4th of July weekend. Hello, Anna. How are you today?
Doing awesome, thanks.
Wonderful. You're going to learn how special Anna is throughout this entire show, but I want to start off with kind of the punchline of something that all parents fear. Anna had lost her son, and if I get choked up through this, Anna, please forgive me, because as you know, I have a 9-year-old boy, and I just couldn't imagine. And Anna has taken that experience and turned it very positive for us as a community. And now she's starting her children's book entitled Things We Wish to Say, which is a dedication to her son, which will be released in October of this year. So we are so grateful to have Anna. Anna, you had a son named Alexi, and he was very special. Would you mind kind of sharing that story so parents and the people that are watching can understand where your journey kind of began?
So our son Alexi had sensory processing disorder, and he had Asperger's. And so we were a family that just lived to a label. And we were able to get him into a brain balance, and within 9 months, all those labels were gone. And he loved ballet, and he started dancing ballet about 5 to 6 years of age. And it was a beautiful journey of watching this young man who really enjoyed ballet, very talented and gifted. It was a natural for him. And he did not have friends, but he was overly friendly. He was this weird kid. And when he finished brain balance, it was amazing. He was 10 years old, and he just flourished, and everyone loved him. He was very appropriate in relationships. He just was awesome. And his journey in ballet led him to a lot of different things. He was bullied because he was a male and he was a ballet dancer. He really didn't have a lot of friends because he was dancing all the time, and that was his passion. And he got to a point one time, he said, people are just going to love me for who I am and how I am, and I'm going to love them. And in 2016, he was walking a friend home from our house. Sorry. And he was struck by a car. And he died, and he was 14 years old. And we had a memorial service for him. And at that time, there was over 1,000 people. We were in shock, number one. And the stories that we were told about him and how he helped other children. He overcame the bullying. He showed people how to deal with bullying. He brought kids to the church. He helped prevent a couple of children from committing suicide. He was the buddy of buddies, and everyone loved this young man.
Anna, I'm gonna stop you there just because it just deserves a pause. I mean, there's very few people in life that you meet that you believe they're angels here, and they're so special. They're only here for a short period of time. And I truly believe your son is that one of those angels. To back up a little bit, just so the audience understands, you and I met through Brain Balance. Anna, to get it to the special part of Anna, more special part of Anna, is that she is the owner of Brain Balance of Cedar Park. This is an organization in which we walked our son into brain balance to help with reading. And again, our experience was the same. They wanted to, put a label on him. That without going too much into that, that organization completely changed my son. He became a better athlete, a better boy, a better reader, it just is amazing. And it's almost hard to understand for a while what that organization that you've started, Anna, has done for kids. So again, amazing to turn something negative and turn it into a positive. On the ballet side, that's important, and that's kind of critical on this book because it's very ballet focused, and I can respect that as well, putting my son in Irish dance, nowhere near Alexei's talent. But as an athlete, such an athlete, that actually helped him in many ways too. Can you talk a little bit about the ballet experience and Alexei and the influence that this book has and your dedication to that community?
So, as I said, Alexei was bullied, and as he passed away, starting to go through his items in his room and things like that, gut-wrenching as it was, we found a poem that he had written. It was his last homework assignment, and Alexei was dancing probably 35 hours a week, most of the year, and so I homeschooled him as well. And he wrote this beautiful poem. And when I read it, I was like, oh my gosh, we need to help carry Alexei's legacy of who he was, about how he responded to bullying, how he helped other people who were bullied, and questioning themselves in their dance. And so 3 years ago, I said, this is what I'm going to do. So we've taken the poem, we've turned it into a children's picture book, and that's the first book. Then Alexei was interviewed for a movie about being bullied as a male ballet dancer, and the movie is going to be shown in October in Austin. Then I'm making journal books to take those questions and take this children's book and blend it all together for a journal book, so that young men and ladies can process through why they're dancing, the challenges of it, how they feel about different things. And my ultimate goal is to have this in a way that parents can communicate, can hear, and the dancer can freely speak. Because I know sometimes with my sons, it's kind of difficult to talk to your mom about things. So we had a thing of leaving notes for one another. And so my hope is that this book will be the launching pad of discussions for young men and women to have with their kids and future generations coming along, that this is the start. And the parents of today can have communications, just maybe the child leaves that journal book so that mom or dad could read it, and they can get more support at home. That is my heart's desire for starting this book. There's many, many ballet dancers out there who, male ballet dancers who quit. They don't feel supported. And frankly, there hasn't been a lot of support for me because I didn't even know what questions to ask. This is the launching pad of this project, so it will continue for generations to come.
It's a valid point, especially having sons, as having an Irish background, you see still a lot of girls dance, and even in Irish dance. And there's always a joke. I even have friends where, a friend of mine is Spanish and she put her son in flamenco. And then, of course, all the husbands and the husband friends joked about that. And when I went to my husband and said, our son's going to do Irish dance, well, I was lucky because I had women like you paving that pathway. And then when Alex Collins, the NFL football player, did the jig on the touchdown, and he talks about how it made him more agile, I so hope that your work and kind of what's happening kind of puts that stigma away from that and just allows people to be good at what they are, which was totally Alexei. He was amazing in his dance, and definitely recommend anybody to check him out. There's many videos and YouTube videos about his life and his dancing, and you can't help but watch him and say, wow, God gave him that gift, and he should have never felt bad about it whatsoever. That was his mission in life. So, but so in the book, Alexi is in the book, correct?
Yes, he is in the book. He is entering a garden of fantasy world, and he is wanting to find people to dance with him. And a lot of people don't know how to dance. They're uncomfortable with the dance. And he finds a teacher, and he wants people to use their dance instead of their words. That's how you can express yourself through dance. And you can be angry, you can be happy, you can be any of emotions you can think of, and they can be expressed through dance. And sometimes it's better to dance through that anger than to hurt somebody with those words. And that's what this book is about. It's just showing that using dance is an expression. It's an art. It's beautiful. And my son, the title many have given him is, he was a godly man, he was a gentleman, and he made a difference in the world. And I believe that you can see that in this book, that he was a gentleman, he was a godly man, and that he is continuing today making a difference in the world.
I want to talk because he's an amazing boy, and he was an amazing boy because of you. I want everybody to understand before we go to break what type of individual you are, Anna, because excuse me. Wow, I promised myself I would tear up in this one, but I'm back to thinking about what you had to go through as a mom. So she has over 80 successful home communities, building over 80 successful home communities in Texas. She is the founding and leading successful health and wealth business. She's become a certified in pediatric neurodevelopment disorders by one of the world's foremost neuroscience researchers and clinicians. Not to mention, you started the successful Brain Balance Center in Cedar Park. Now you've launched brain integration training and sharing your incredible wisdom called Life Momentum with Anna B, Lifestyle Coaching and Resources. This is just a few things that Anna has done in her short time on earth, and I'm sure she is the mama angel to a son that influenced the world. So we're going to go on break. Again, I'm speaking to the wonderful and talented Anna Bauereis, new author to the first book, children's picture book she's creating, Things We Wish to Say, released in October.
What started as a love letter to her son has become an international love letter for all parents to their children. Now you can read acclaimed author Shanalee Sharboneau's story to your children. When her son was very sick, she calmed him by singing her own song to him. She turned that song into the book, My Mama Loves Me, I'm Her Little Boy. She wrote 3 more magical books for all parents and kids 6 and under. Available at Indie Lecter, Amazon, and all local and national outlets.
Hello, I am the author and poet Denise Bryson. I am the author of The Things That Cross My Mind, Love's Reality, both in book and audio form. I am also noted as one of the best poets of 2011. I have 2 new projects coming up. One is the Blinky series, where Blinky tells us all about our coins and our bills for our children. I also have a book coming out called Say Ye. It's quotes from Denise Bryson, just inspirational and that will help you along the way.
Thank you for watching or listening to this show. Indie Lecter is proud to sponsor this programming. As a thank you for listening or watching, we would like to give you a 10% coupon code that you can use on our bookstore at indielecter.store. Use coupon code video19. Again, that's indielecter.store, coupon code video19 for a 10% discount on any purchase. Thank you.
Welcome back to Indie Beacon Radio. Don't forget to like us, follow.
Hello, y'all. This is your radio show host for today, this afternoon, Shanalee Sharboneau. And with me, I have the amazing, talented Anna Bauereis. Welcome back, Anna. How are you?
Doing great.
Wonderful. So we just left off talking about Anna's just incredible mission in her life, what she's done with, her son, is unfortunate passing, and just helping other kids. I know, Anna, your family has helped mine, and I will forever be grateful for that. So I can't thank you enough. I want to acknowledge Alexi is in a picture over your left shoulder onto the right of the screen, and he is dancing, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, he's a beautiful child, and you can so tell he knows what he's doing there. So amazing. And then you do have some of the illustrations on your other shoulder of the book, correct?
Yes, I do.
Wonderful. So that's a little preview of the book coming up. So I want to go back to again, the power of this book, and what type of audience you might see gravitating to this book. We've heard your mission on the book, but who really will be touched by this, do you believe?
I'm a mom that has 5 children and 7 grandchildren, and I'm an empty nester now. And so as I started processing through what made me a successful mom and have such awesome children who are well-rounded, and I believe it's because that I took the time to kind of sit back, and my youngest daughter, she's 19, Anastasia gave me this poster one time, and it says, "Moms are better than the FBI when it comes to researching." Because that is what I would do. And just being in conversations are hard to have. And with some of my children, it was best to exchange notes. Some of my children, it was best to have coffee and just sit there and grind through it. And all children are different. I have dusk, dawn, for learning styles and desires and creativity. And in this book is just another way to start that conversation. Do you like dance? Why do you like dance? What is your hopes, your dreams? And having a place for parents to come back. Maybe they're coming back to me and saying, "Hey, where do I find this information?" I have worked very hard to get plugged into communities to get answers. What is a male dance belt? What makeup? I'm telling you, one of the strangest conversations. And by the way, I couldn't take my son to Walgreens and go find a lipstick and things for him. That the strangest looks that I would get as a mom having lipstick discussions with your son at Walgreens. And, that wasn't his makeup style. So we had to step it up. And I was like, okay, I'm wearing Walgreens and my son is wearing better than I am. This is crazy. But it was fulfilling his passion and who God made him to be. Yeah. And there are uncomfortable conversations. There's uncomfortable all kinds of things. And as a mom, it is important for men to wear dance belts. That's a whole nother discussion for another time. But in educating people on what that means. And so I took the time to do that. And I would just want to be there for other parents, start this conversation with dancers, and then have outlets for them so they can, be their own little FBI.
I think for those who have never been on stage for any reason, whether it's in front of a podcast or radio, or if it's, for whatever reason, when you're under lights, you have to put on makeup. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. So for anybody out there who's like, why would a kid put on makeup? You know, I work for In Shopping Home Network, and all the male hosts are in there putting on as much makeup as I am. So just to clarify that, you know, I think that the power of your book, Anna, even though it's powerful in many ways, is that I believe it's going to touch parents who might have a son who is, or a child, it doesn't have to be a boy, but somebody who is different. And you know, I think we've come a long way with girls. You know, they're told and they're known they can do anything on both sides of the venue. And those girls, this generation, having nieces, are doing so well, even better than I did. And I thought I did pretty well, but maybe not. And you know, with boys, there's still some stigma, as there was with girls, where there was stigma that they couldn't do boy things. And I think, you know, putting that attention on boys to be able to do whatever they're good at, in my heart as a parent, I think that's the most powerful message to parents and to kids. And I want you to speak on that, because it's important, you know, not bullying. You know, what drew you to that, and the power of, like, let's say, you know, we all know we're not going to be here forever. Looking back on your epitaph, if you will, what do you want to be known for with this book? You're going to be known for a lot in your life, but with this book, going on that subject.
What I'd like to be known for in this book, pretty much my life, really, I want to make a difference in my community and in my world. I want to leave a positive mark, and I want to be able to uplift that next generation to be who they were meant to be. And when it comes to dancers, I have felt there's many groups that come along and try to help and support. Being a classical male ballet dancer is tough, and people don't realize the pain that they go through. They go to school 8 hours a day, and they really don't have a lot of friends because they're the weird guy who dances. When bullying, it's amazing where the bullying comes from. It comes from girls they dance with. It comes from their classmates. It is amazing. My older sons were kind of picking on Alexi at one point and saying, you know, hey, leotards, man, that should be part of your vocabulary, much less your wardrobe, you know. And I had to pull them aside and talk to them, and, you know, we kind of processed through what was going on. And how would you feel if, you know, somebody was picking on you about something, and really helped my older sons get into my younger son's shoes. And when that happened, it was like, my son just blossomed, because at home, he had the support he needed and wanted. He had the affirmations from people in his home. And then it started into our neighbors. Our neighbors were supporting Alexei in his dance. And then it was going a little bit larger to the neighborhood. We're supporting him in dance. And so he developed friends, and it really starts at home. So in this children's book, it is that moms are reading, or dads are reading to their child about dance, and kind of sparking that. See if there's an interest, and then go find that dance studio and step through that door and have awareness that your child may light up on that floor, Marley floor. They may light up. Look at how they light up when they're on that floor. And when they come out of that dance studio, if you're not seeing that light up at school and at home, start asking, start talking, have conversations with the teachers, with other parents, find out what's going on. And this is a first step, I believe, in early childhood education on dance and supporting dance.
Yeah, that's so well said. And you know, you have to wonder if we're cheating a lot of young boys out there of talents. I mean, I think Alexei was so good at it that you just almost couldn't ignore it, you know? But, you know, And I'll give, this is such a minor story compared to Alexi, but when I did push my son into Irish dance, he did take to it. It's probably genetic, I'm hopeful. But he was hitting a ball one time, and it was kind of on the edge of my husband finally going, fine, if you want him to do Irish dance, and my son going, hey Dad, the NFL football player did it, so I guess I'll hang in there. And a very fast pitch came in, and it went to his ankles. And I remember just clutching my heart. And as this ball, who in my mind I saw just knocking his ankle, breaking it, fracturing it, causing him not to do sports in which he loves, he went up in an Irish dance on his tiptoes.
Yep.
And the ball went through his ankles, and he was fine. And when he turned around and gave me the thumbs up, we all knew at that point what it meant, which was Irish dance rocks. And,
Yes.
physical harm. That's, I mean,
It is. It's one of, as I was doing I'll call it research, but I just talk a lot. Anybody who knows me knows this. I just talk a lot and I ask questions. And I've been very, very thankful to the communities and people in the communities who listened to me and shared and given me information. I have found so many doctors, I'm talking MDs, chemists, oh my gosh, quite a few engineers, football players, they all did ballet, but they didn't do ballet until they were older. They wish they had done ballet when they were younger for that specific reason. But I'll tell you, in our family, I think I'm one of the most luckiest wives in the world, because my husband supported my son. The first time I was signing my daughter up, Anastasia, for ballet, and took her down to Ballet Austin because she needed that strong core. She was a figure skater. And as we were getting ready to go, I got Alexi out of a tree. I hosed him down, dried him off, put him in the car. We go down to Ballet Austin. We sign Anastasia up. As we're leaving, he sees a male dancer, Paul Bloodgood, on the wall. And he says immediately, that's what I want to do. And I'm like, no, you don't. And I just grabbed him, go. And he threw a fit. And I'm not the kind of mama you drop down on the ground in public to. I mean, I was like livid. And I picked him up and took him out to the car. And I called my husband, and Eric was like, honey, it's 6 weeks. Not a big deal. Go ahead, sign him up and see what he does. And he loved it, just loved it. And the first time we saw him dance in a recital, we all sat there and cried. We could not believe how beautiful it was. And he stood out amongst his peers. He was still at this point pre-brain balance, so he was in his own little world. But even the instructors were like, oh my gosh, he has the most beautiful port de bras we've ever seen. And that was kind of the start of the journey. But it was having that spouse support me when I was like, okay, this is crazy. This boy is 100% boy. I mean, fishing, hiking, getting in the mud. And I mean, in our home, we had a tree outside his bedroom, and he didn't really use the staircase. He climbed the tree. He would climb the tree for dinner. He would climb, it was crazy. He preferred to use the tree outside the house. And the older he got and the more time that I was needing to invest in his potential career here, I told him one day, I said, son, if I come home again and I find you on the roof of the house, I am not paying for airline tickets for you to go places, for dancing. It's over. And that's why when he had passed away and how he passed away, we were just in shock, because this young man knew. I mean, he was very careful. Now, he would tell his friends and show his friends how to do things, trick things on skateboards and whatnot, but he didn't do them. He was very careful, because if he got hurt, he knew his career would be shortened. And, that whole discussion.
Yeah, no. This is a great story, and it definitely gives insight to Alexi. We're going to take a break. Again, we're talking to the very talented author, community advocate, angel, Anna Bauereis. We will be back.
What would you do if you had to put your life on hold to parent your parents? You have to laugh to keep from crying How to Parent Your Parents is a must-read book full of antidotes and practical advice to help parenting your parents. Author Charlotte Kenyon provides insights to help prepare anyone facing the challenges of caring for elderly parents. Check out our website at www.howtoparentyourparents.net.
What would you do if you found out everyone on the town council were thieves and murderers? That's what happened in Bandera, Texas in 1873. John Cruder was the marshal, yet he needed to operate outside the law in order to balance the scales of justice. He is the Midnight Marauder. You can find his books on Amazon.com and TopWesterns.com in paperback, digital, and audio. I'm Roy Clinton, and I hope you'll read The Midnight Marauder.
Welcome back to Indie Beacon Radio. Don't forget to like us, follow us, or subscribe to one of our many channels. Now, here is your host for today's show.
Hello, y'all. This is Shanalee Sharboneau, your radio show host for today. We have Anna Bauereis. She is an individual who has really dedicated herself to the community. She's the owner of Brain Balance of Cedar Park, helping not only the community, but multiple families and children within the, I should say, Austin area, but that's not true because people travel from all over to go to just her location. But she had a beautiful son by the name of Alexi who regretfully was injured, and now she is creating a picture book series or book called Things We Wish to Say. It will be released in October of this year. Welcome back, Anna.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So the book, like I said, this October, are we on target? Because as we know, books are hard to get on target, but you're going to release it this year for Christmas, correct?
Yes, this has been an amazing learning curve for me because I've
Thank you for listening to Indie Beacon Radio, where creative souls can find help in marketing their creations. To learn more about Indie Beacon services, to be a guest on the show, or to advertise on our show, please visit our website at indiebeacon.com.